Hello. Oh. Hello. How are you today, everybody? Long time no see. How's your day and any plans for this weekend? Hello. Hello, Sophia. Oh, Anna or Sophia? Both, right? Anya. Hello. Denise, hello. How are you, everybody? Just let me share the screen with you. It's been our 9th week together. Andrei, no plans, right? Anna, very good. Cool. So this week, you learned modal verbs, will, would, should, could. So today we are going to have a look one more time at them. And also, you've learned about personality traits. So it's going to be interesting today. A lot of games, by the way. And today is the week of Gala project. Today is the week of Gala project. Just let me share with you the QR code for this Gala project. This project will be awarded. So it means that you will get prizes for the best and the most creative Gala project. Just let me find your link for Google. Here it is. So here is this QR code. Can you please scan it? And you will get to the Google folder and send your Gala projects. So the best and the most creative Gala project will get prize from me. I will send you the prizes. The topic of today's Gala, of this week's Gala project, will be this. Tell us about your vision of the future. So tell us about your vision of the future. So project, you send your projects, get prize for the best and the most creative project. about future. And to scan this QR code with the help of your mobiles, and you will get to the what's that called, to the Google folder, right? Send. I will check, I will read and send the prize. Okay, good. Let's continue our work. Before we start, let's play a game. A very nice game. So let's have a look. What food group is bagel? Fruit, dairy, grain, or protein? What food group is bagel? I think it's grain. I should say it's dessert. Grain, right. So bread. Name that fruit. What's the name of the fruit? Type in the chat box the name of the fruit. Grapefruit, blood melon, passion fruit, dragon fruit. I think it's passion fruit. Oh, it's dragon fruit. It's like dragon. Draw a come. We are not going to draw a come. Show me some breakfast food. Okay. Name that vegetable. Type in the chat box the name of the vegetable. That's beet, right? Beet. What food group is this egg? Fruit, grain, protein, dairy. Type please in the chat box. Dragon fruit, right? I wasn't right. Cool. So this one is protein, right? What about this steak? What's that? It's meat, butchery, protein. Then. What is the capital of California? What is the capital of California? Fresno, Hollywood, Stockton, Sacramento. Sacramento, right. I knew that because of the bloggers. Where is the Grand Canyon located? Grand Canyon located. Montana, Arizona, Nevada, and Texas. I think it's Arizona, right? Oh, sorry. What state is Mount Rushmore in? New York, Washington, South Dakota, Utah. Hollywood, Sacramento. I think it's Rushmore. It's either South Dakota or Utah. South Dakota, right. Can you type in the chat box, what is your favorite app? What your favorite app is? Speaking about me, my favorite app is Instagram and I don't know. And maybe this banking, online banking system. It's very convenient. Okay. What date is Independence Day? The 4th of July. It's American, right? American independence. That's carrot. That's very easy. What's your favorite movie? Can you write? What's your favorite movie? What's your favorite movie? My favorite movie is it's called Focus, but in English it's called not Focus, it seems to me. It's something else. I just forgot. With Will Smith, it's Focus. Okay. Flamingo, what's your favorite food? Can you type in the chat box, what's your favorite food? What's your favorite food? Can you type in the chat box? Oh, nobody writes anything? Why is that? Okay. What vegetable is this? It's artichoke. What food group is cheese? Fruit, dairy, grains, and vegetable. I think it's dairy. That's pretty much easy. And this fruit, kiwi. Kiwi fruit. And who am I? Cheetah, right? It's cheetah. Good. I love all food. Right. I'm with you, Anya, because I love also all food. Doesn't matter what's the food. I like all of them. My favorite. So today we are going to talk about modals. Some of them must, mustn't, can, cannot, not only must, mustn't, but also can, cannot. Doesn't really matter. Modal verbs, also known as modal auxiliary verbs, are such verbs as can, could, may, might, will, would, shall, should, must, etc. They come before other verbs to add meanings of possibility, obligation, or some other unique meanings. Some say that there are many meanings to the modal verbs. However, modal verbs only have 3 basic meanings. Other meanings are only the byproduct of the context. Let's take a look at 3 basic meanings of examples. So, degree of possibility. Modal verbs express the degree of possibility that something is true. The possibility is judged by logical probability and past records. Each modal verb expresses a different degree as the following graph. The higher of the modal verb's position, the higher the possibility it represents. the highest one, it's certainly true. In most cases, it's very, very true. So here we can have must and will. Probably true, it's a 50-50. It's would, should, can, and could. Theoretically possible, but not sure, it's may and might. At the bottom of our graph, it's may and might. Possible, but not very sure that it's possible. So again, very sure and certainly true, it's must and will. Probably true, it's would, should, can, and could. And maybe very small percentage, it's 50 or 20%, it will be may or might. The box will break. If, for example, the elephant stands on the box, it will break. If, for example, the girl is standing on the box, not an elephant, the box would break. So we 50-50. And for example, if on the box stands some light thing, the box may break. So maybe 20% or 15% that it will break. So steps on a small plastic box, it's certain that will break. The box must break if elephant steps on the plastic box. Likewise, if an adult steps on the plastic box, it's probably not true that the box will break. In this case, the box would break if an adult steps on it. Lastly, if someone puts a plastic Christmas tree on the box, it's theoretically possible that the box breaks, but people will not be sure about it. In this case, we say, the box may break if I put a Christmas tree on it. Would, could, might are not past forms. When modal verbs are used to express possibility or obligation, would, could, and might are not the past forms of will, can, and may. The only time would, could, and might are past forms is when you talk about someone, thinking about or saying will, can, may in the past. If you heard Jason saying, I will be back yesterday, just a second, some technical problems. Okay, some technical problems, I'm sorry. So we were talking about will, would, could, and should. Jason saying, I will be back yesterday. You may tell your friend, you may tell your friends. Jason said yesterday that he would be back, so reported speech. Likewise, if you thought the weather will be bad the next day, but the weather actually turns out to be good, you may say, I thought the weather would be bad, but I was wrong. Request and permission. Under certain situations, can and may take on the meaning of request or permission. If someone questions possibility, even though it's clear that something is possible, the word can and may usually mean request. For instance, when someone asks, may I go to the washroom, professor? The speaker is requesting because it's clear that the speaker has the ability to go to the washroom. The same can hold true for the word can, but may is considered to be more polite. So may is more polite. In addition, when someone in authority says can or may, the words may take on the meaning of permission. Imagine that you have been hospitalized for a month and the doctor finally tells you can go home now. The doctor is telling you that you have the ability and permission to go home at the same time. Negative possibility. If you want to express the degree of negative possibility, that is, how much something is not true, refer to the following diagram. Negative possibility. Certainly not true. Cannot and will not. Cannot is very severe and hard certainty that something is not true. So we have must and cannot, which is not true at all. Probably not true, wouldn't and shouldn't, and theoretically possible to be false, but not, you are not sure. May not and might not. Again, if you are 100% sure that something is not true, you use cannot. If you are 50-50 that something is probably not true, you use wouldn't and shouldn't. If you think that something is theoretically possible to be false, but not true, but you are not sure, you use may not and might not. If you think about the same plastic box, if you think it's certainly not true, not sure that the box will break, say the box cannot break. Imagine that on this box we put a very small and light toy on the plastic box. Certainly, it cannot break. If you put, for example, several animals on this box, it's probably not true that the box will break. That's why you say the box wouldn't break. If you put, for example, our Christmas tree on the plastic box, you can say, it's theoretically possible that the box will not break, but you are not very sure about it. That's why I say the box may not break. Degree of obligation. Modal verbs also express the degree of obligation. In other words, how much someone has to do something. Please refer to the following diagram. The higher the modal verbs, the higher the obligation to do something. Must. You are required to do. There is no other option. Must. Required to do other options are bad. Should. And asked to do other options just as good. Can, could, may, and might. If you borrow books from the library, you are required to return the books and you have no other options. In such cases, say you must return the books to the library. Next, if someone tells you you should wear a tuxedo to the party, the speaker means that you are required to wear a tuxedo. Although there are other options, those options are considered bad. For example, to the party, you cannot wear a swimsuit or a sports suit. That's why you should wear a tuxedo. It's kind of like a very good advice and saying that other options are bad. Finally, if someone tells you you can use the phone if you want, the person is saying that you are asked to use the phone. However, there are other options, and those options are just as good as using the phone. You can use the phone if you want. Expectations and advice. Because modal verbs ask someone to do something and tell the person how good other options are, modal verbs often take on the meaning of expectations and advice. For instance, when someone says you should say thanks to people who help you, the speaker is requiring you to say thanks while telling you not saying thanks is considered a bad option. This is exactly what social expectations look like. You are required to do it. Hence, the sentence takes on the meaning of social expectations. Similarly, when someone says you should go to the doctor, the person is requiring you to go to the doctor while telling you that not seeing the doctor is a bad option. This is exactly what advice looks like. Therefore, the sentence takes on the meaning of advice. Let's have a look at negative obligation. Negative obligation means that at the higher point, there are things that you are required to not to do, and there is no other option. For example, must not, mustn't, and cannot. 50-50, you are required not to do it. Doing, it's bad. Shouldn't. You are required to not to do it. Okay, and the last one, you are asked to do, asked to not to do it, but doing it's just as good. Don't have to do it, so it's not necessary. Someone told you, you mustn't break the law. The person means that you are required to not break the law and there is no other choice. By the same logic, you shouldn't skip school means you are required to not skip school and doing it is considered to be bad. And then you don't have to call her means you are asked to call her, but not doing it's just as good as calling her. So there is no necessity to call her. You don't have to go to school on Sunday. There is no necessity to go to school on Sunday. Unique meanings. There are other unique meanings not included in possibility and obligation. Let's have a look. Shall. When shall is used with the pronoun I, my, mine, myself, the word shall means intention. As in, I shall ask him to do you a favor. I intend to ask him to do you a favor. When shall is used with pronouns such as I, we, our, ours, ourselves, the word becomes the polite version of the word will. Shall we dance? Will we dance? It's more polite. It's a very super highly polite version of will. If shall is used with will, the word will can express intention as in I will get up and overcome the problem. I intend to get up and overcome the problem. This meaning is the reminder of the Old English. Will also expresses the future time, as in I will go to school tomorrow. Can, the word can be used statement of ability. You use can if you want to say that there is possibility. You use can if you want to say that There is a possibility, but don't want to mention the specific degree of it. An example would be sleeping less than 5 hours a day can undermine your health. Good. Also, I would like to tell you that there are some phrasal modal verbs like must, have to, need to do. Will and shall are like to be going to be about to, and to be to do something. Should is used as to be supposed to. So there are some phrases that means the same as modal verbs. Would, it means used to. May and might be allowed to and be permitted to. This one more time. Must is need to do. Will, shall, be going to, be about to do something, and be to do something. Should, be supposed to do something. Would, used to. May, might, be allowed to do, and be permitted to do. Good. I would like now you to look at to watch the video of one lady that explains it much better. Watch and find the information that I haven't said.
Если вы являетесь собственником бизнеса и погрязли в операционке, процессы несистемны и неэффективны.
Hi, I'm Rebecca from Ingvid. In this lesson, you'll learn how to use modal verbs properly and how to avoid making the most common mistakes that students sometimes make when using these special helping verbs. Now, even though modal verbs doesn't sound that exciting, when you see what they are, you'll realize that we use these verbs all the time. And so you need to know how to use them correctly, right? Okay, so let's look at what modal verbs are. So these are words that express different kinds of things. For example, they might express ability, possibility, permission, obligation, okay? And some other things like that. And they behave differently from regular verbs. And that's why they're sometimes a little bit confusing. But let's look at some examples of what modal verbs are. Can, could, may, might, should, ought to, must, have to, will, shall, and would. Okay, these are the most common ones. All right, so I'm going to give you now 3 basic rules that you can follow to avoid most of the mistakes that are usually made with the modal verbs. Okay, so first of all, make sure to use the modal verb as is. That means don't change it in the present or the past or the future. For example, we can say, he can swim. This is a correct sentence. It would be wrong to say, he can swim, because here the student put an extra S there, all right? And we don't need to change that modal verb ever, okay? All right. Second, use the base form of the verb after a modal. Don't use to. What do I mean by that? For example, you should say, he might join us, not he might to join us, okay? This is a really common error, so make sure you don't make this one. So don't use the full infinitive, to join, after a word like might. Just use the base form of the verb, which is join. He might join us. He could join us. He should join us. He must join us, and so on, without to. All right? Very good. Now, the next point is, if you need to use the modal verb in the negative form, then just use not after the modal. All right? don't add any extra words most of the time. There's one little exception. I'll explain that to you. But for most of them, don't use words like don't or doesn't or isn't, aren't, wasn't, won't. Okay? So with most of these modal verbs, just say not. For example, you should not smoke. Not, you don't should smoke. All right? So here the student knows and learned all these lovely words, don't, doesn't, isn't, aren't, all that, and try to use it when using the modal verb, but that's wrong. Okay? So the only exception is with the verb, with the modal verb have to. There, if you want to make it negative, you need to say you don't have to do this. Okay? But with the other ones, we just say you cannot, you could not, you may not, you might not, you should not, you ought not to. Okay? So there you have to be careful where to place it. You must not. This one I told you is an exception. You will not, you shall not, and you would not. Okay? And the other thing to keep in mind, when you're using this word and not, this is a really common mistake. So the important thing to remember,
Это перкуссионный массажер. На этом товаре заработок 200 гривен, если продавать через бесплатный.
this actually becomes one word. Okay? Only in that case. You don't say can, you say cannot, but it's actually one word. All right? Most of the time, almost always, not is a separate word with all of the other modal verbs, but not with can. With can, it actually becomes one word. I cannot arrive. Okay? On time, like that. Okay, so now that you've got these basic rules and you've understood how it works, let's do some practice to see how well you've understood. Okay, so let's get started with our exercises. Now, the rules are written at the top just in case you didn't remember them exactly. First one, remember, use it as it is. Don't change the modal verb. Second one, use with the base verb. Don't use the full infinitive to something. And the last one, use not after the modals when it's negative. Okay? All right, try to keep those in mind. But most of all, let's look at the actual examples and you tell me what's wrong with them. There is something wrong with each and every one of these sentences. Okay, number one, you must to finish your homework. You must to finish your homework. What's wrong there? What did the person do wrong? They added to, all right? This was our second rule, right? You cannot use to. Just say you must finish your homework, okay? That's it. Number two, I don't can drive. I don't can drive. That's wrong. What should it be? I cannot drive. Okay, that's what we said here in the third rule, right? That just use not when it's negative. All right, and remember with the word cannot, it's one word. All right, number three, you should not to smoke. You should not to smoke. What's wrong there? Okay, again, we want to take out this to. The sentence should be, you should not smoke. So again, you don't want to use the to. Just use the base form of the verb. Don't use the full infinitive. Okay, number four, we not could call you. We not could call you, some people say, but it's not right. What should it be? We could not call you. Remember, not goes after the modal, okay? Not anywhere else. He might go to sleep. He might go to sleep. It's not right. It should be he might go to sleep, okay? This was our rule number 1 here at the top. And the rule was that we don't change anything, right? We just say he might go to sleep. We never change the modal, right? Next, number 6, they can to stay with us. Somebody says very kindly, they can to stay with us. It's a very kind suggestion. It's not grammatically correct. Let's make it correct. What do we need to take out? This, okay? It should be just, they can stay. They can go. They can leave. They can come, whatever. But no to, all right? So this was our rule number 2, okay? All right, number 7. We would not to arrive on time. We would not to arrive on time. Again, you want to take out this too. And the reason why this keeps happening is because this is the most common mistake. All right, so that's why I have more of those here for you to review. We would not arrive on time. Good. And the last one, she wills return soon. She wills return soon. Okay, so what's wrong there? The first rule up here, okay? The rule says that the modal verb doesn't change. And here it did get changed. So we have to take out the S and then it will become she will return soon, which is correct. Okay? I know there are a few things to keep in mind, but the more you practice, the better you're going to get at it. So please go to our website, www.ingvid.com. There you can do a quiz on this, and you can also watch lots of other wonderful English lessons on.
Okay. I hope you enjoyed it. Good. Let's wrap up with our models. I can't. Oh, here. So complete the sentences, please, with can, can't, could, couldn't, must, and mustn't. She's a small baby. She eat meat, but she drink milk. She's a small baby. She cannot or can't eat meat, but she can drink milk, right? He's so ill that he see a doctor, that he should see or must see the doctor. It's raining heavily. You must take your own umbrella. We pick the flowers in the park. It's forbidden. We mustn't pick the flowers in the park. I sing now, but I sing very well when I was a child. I can't sing now. I can't sing now, but I could sing very well when I was a child. Mike is only 9 months old. He cannot eat nuts yet. He has a lot of weight, so he can't run so fast. I'm very tall, so I can play basketball. You park that car there. It's a no parking zone, so you mustn't. Many students in Great Britain must wear a uniform when they go to school, or mustn't. I don't know about students in Britain. George has traveled a lot. He can speak four languages. I come with you now because I'm studying for my test. I can't come with you now because I'm studying for my test. Footballers mustn't touch the ball with their hands. Can I use your phone? May I use your phone? I'm sorry, I can't come yesterday. I couldn't come yesterday. I had to work late. Let's check. What about Great Britain? Must wear, mustn't, could, can, can't. Good. So now let's have a look at the personalities. So just let me open. Can you type in the chat box the personalities that you have here? People have an attractive personality and make people like them. Charming people have an attractive personality and make people like them. Charming people. People think about themselves and not about other people. Selfish, right? Selfish people. A person doesn't like obeying rules. Rebellious person. Rebellious person doesn't like obeying the rules. A person never changes his or her opinion or attitude about something. So a stubborn person never changes his or her opinion or attitude about something. Reliable, unreliable. Organized, disorganized. Mature, immature. A person is friendly and enjoys being with other people. Sociable person, communicative person, easygoing person. A person can be easily hurt or offended. Sensitive person can be easily hurt, offended, can cry easily. A person wants to be successful. An ambitious person wants to be a determined person. People like doing things on their own without any help. Independent people, right? I don't need anybody's help. I just can do it myself. A person thinks that someone loves another person more than him or her or wants what other people have. I think that's jealous person. A person like giving orders to other people. A bossy person, right? The honest, dishonest. The opposite, sociable, unsociable. A person is happy 1 minute and sad the next and is often bad-tempered. Moody, right? A moody person. A person always wants to win. A competitive person. A person gets angry quickly and likes fighting and arguing. An aggressive person. A person has common sense and is practical. Sensible, right? Sensitive can cry and sensible has common sense and practical views. Children behave badly because they are given everything they want. They are spoiled children. People are often worried or stressed. Anxious people, they are always worried about everything. Good. Is someone who can trust and depend on. Reliable person, a reliable person. A person shows that he or she loves or likes people very much. Affectionate person, so I want to hug everybody. Affectionate person. Right. Let's have a look at some of the meanings. Let's have a look at positive personality traits. Positive personality traits manifest themselves in many ways. When a person's regular behavior exhibits the same positive attributes time and time again, the associated behaviors become definitive of their character. In the examples below, let's have a look at the most popular positive traits of character. Being honest and taking responsibility for your affections are admirable qualities. Adaptability and affability. It helps, these two traits help person get on well with different people. Affability and adaptability. Drive, determination, and persistence. So the person wants to keep going no matter what. He's determined to succeed and all this stuff. Compassion, understanding, and empathy. So being sensitive and affectionate, it helps to understand other people. Patience and virtue. It's a personality trait. These are the personality traits that's universally valued. Courage and confidence. It helps the person quickly decide what to do in difficult situations. Loyalty and trustworthy. So you are reliable and everybody is sure that you won't betray anybody. Helpful will cause others to see you as a very helpful person. Meticulous and precise, to have this attention to the details, to check everything very in a detailed way, like that. What else? Gregarious, charming, and sociable. All these personality traits are connected to speaking with others, to be communicative, like being sociable with others, like being speaking with others. Humble tend to be viewed as those who can succeed without being arrogant, selfish about their success, accomplishments, and other stuff. Exuberant, being filled with joy and enthusiasm, so being very enthusiastic, exuberant. Discreet and respectful of the privacy and dignity to others. Negative traits: lying, so a dishonest person, untruthful person, rigid person, so the person who just is fixed in their way, so the person who doesn't want to open something new. Laziness, failing to meet obligations, right? Inability to empathize with others, it's a very bad quality because you will be very cruel to people. Quick to anger, disloyal, talking about others behind somebody else's backs, betraying them for personal gain. It's like the most negative trait of character. Bossy, self-centered, and selfish people. Unfriendly, disrespectful people. Rude and unpleasant, cowardly people. Quarrelsome people and argumentative, so people who likes to be rebellious, who wants to make arguments with people, so not a very good quality of character. Impulsive and reckless, also acting without thinking about the consequences to themselves or others, just coming across as reckless people. Sneaky and deliberately deceptive, negative personality trait, doing something behind somebody else's back, lying to people. Malicious, evil person. Thoughtless, total disregard for how their actions might affect other people. Disruptive and disrespectful, cause harm to others by the irresponsible actions of yourself. Like that. Openness, the extent to which a person has an appreciation for a variety of experiences. Conscientiousness, the degree to which a person prefers to plan ahead rather than being spontaneous. Extroversion, the extent to which a person tends to prefer being sociable, outgoing, and talkative. Gregarious, right? Agreeableness, how surely a person tends to be kind, sympathetic, and happy to assist others. neuroticism, the extent to which someone is inclined to worry or be vulnerable or temperamental. Right. So these are the most popular personality traits that we can look at. So I told you about the project time. Your task will be to present the project, a gala project. I will read it. I will choose the best and the most creative project about future. And you will get the present from me. Here, I duplicate the QR code for you. So you just scan, go to the Google folder, send your Gala project to this folder. I will choose the best and the most creative. Don't forget about these Gala projects. I'm waiting for them. Be creative. Find something interesting. Find some interesting photos. And I will be very happy to read them, to just to enjoy reading them. So be very creative. I'm waiting for them. Have a nice weekend, by the way, and hope you to see you the next week. Thanks for watching me, and I'm sure that you have gained something useful from today's webinar. So I'm waiting for your Gala projects. You will receive prizes. Be very active, because I'm happy when you present something new and send something useful to me. Thanks a lot for today. See you next week.